socializing is very important to me, especially in this time. And so I wanted to make sure that I got to go see my friend. So that is why I'm running a little bit late today. Hi, Maria. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. But we are going to start forthwith into the readings. Today is the fire signs, of course. Did anybody have out of control fireworks yesterday? Because I was actually surprised at how tame things were in my neighborhood. I'm a little bit concerned for the mental well-being of everyone in my neighborhood. Everybody sounded really depressed yesterday for the 4th of July. Oh wow, I think I was in the only neighborhood where we didn't have nonstop fireworks till 1 a.m. Because my friend also said that in her neighborhood, she lives like over in Boyle Heights, and she was saying that everybody was setting off fireworks there, but here in Van Nuys, everybody was too depressed, I guess. Hi, Angel. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. So just allow anything that you're ready to let go of to drift gently into the flame. Allow it to absorb any of your thoughts and feelings from over the course of the day that you'd like to release. Just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And we are going to start with the fire sign of Aries, of course. Aries always comes first, right? So Aries, if you would like to go ahead and set your intention for the reading, allow any thoughts or ideas associated with that intention to rise up to the forefront of your thoughts and just wait there gently and patiently while I shuffle the cards. And again, I am using the Secret Arcana combined with the original Oliver Hibbert Tarot. And I really enjoy using these two decks combined. I need to figure out a way to put them into a box, but you might see them for a few weeks here because I'm very excited about them. And Aries, if any of these things that you are thinking about are causing you stress or any tension, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in divine source energy and allow it to infiltrate, every cell, every molecule of your body. And then, as you exhale, just release back into the universe any of those thoughts or feelings that are no longer serving you, that are causing you stress or discomfort. And they will return to source, and they will be transmuted. Oh, exciting. It's exciting so far. Aries. Aries, your readings are always so full of life. Let's see what we have here. And I regret to inform all of you that I will not be keeping it normal today. So, just be forewarned. Maybe you won't even notice. Okay. Aries, the first card that I have for you is having to do with the past. And we have, in the past, the wound. Now it's showing up in the reverse, so that lets me know that this is energy that has passed from your life. It could have been that you had some kind of hurt that you were nursing, but that you were also moving forward at that time, Aries. And now you've left this behind. But of course, there's going to be scar tissue potentially left behind. There could be other residual things resulting from this past situation. So let's see what else is going on here in the current. And you have a lot of secret arcana cards, Aries, coming out in your reading this week. Almost the only normal tarot is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 out of the 10 cards, which is well over half. In the place of the significator, we have the skull. This card is in the upright, and it is crossed by the hourglass. So let me take out the book because I haven't read these cards yet. So let me see what is going on here. The skull is number 8. So similar to the 8th house, but could also be similar to the strength card. Death brings life, sacrifice, selflessness, respect, and sympathy. So all of the more positive attributes that death and transformation can bring into your life, the gentleness of that, the aspects of losing something that bring in new things. And what is that? It's crossed by the hourglass. Take your time. So this one is all about allowing yourself enough time to work through all of these changes, Aries. Down here in the Imam Silai, the Imam Silai is the position in the reading that tells us about the origins and foundations for the goal or destiny of the situation. And what we have there is the key. Now, the key is about something that you can tap into in order to unlock situations for yourself. But there might be a price to pay. Let me make sure I'm reading that properly. The power is held within you to use for a price. So there might be things that you're able to tap into at this time that are propelling you forward, but that these things might not be good long-term solutions because they have a high cost associated. So it could be things like not sleeping enough. It could be things like spending too much money, could be using medication or drugs to function. All of these things are keys that can unlock part of your life, but it's not a good long term solution because the cost can be very high. I certainly don't judge. So, from your perspective, Aries, we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. You may perceive that you have let go of a close personal relationship. This could be a love relationship, but it could also be a very close friendship. Could be an alliance of some kind. And it might have to do with this hurt that you got over in the past. That there may be aspects of this that were tied to this letting go process. That's possible. And so, this transformative time for you is allowing yourself time to come out of that. It could have been a romantic relationship, but it could have been a roommate situation where you were very close with your roommate and then they move out. It kind of leaves a void in your life. It could have been even a work situation. All of these things are possibilities. And I like to kind of open the door to that because if you notice, on this card, we're talking about emotional proximity. We're not necessarily talking about a physical relationship. We're not necessarily, although that is implied here by the wand up here, the caduceus, but also through that, the medicinal properties of one-on-one interactions and emotional bonding with another person on a one-on-one level, which can be a romantic relationship. It can be a close friendship. Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine if Dwight and Jim had to be apart? Like, even though on the show they're butting heads constantly, if they had to part ways forever, I'm sure they'd miss each other. That is a good way of thinking about it. So, here from an outside person's perspective, looking in, we have the 10 of Cups. Everything seems really good emotionally for you at this time. And there might be some elements of completion that others perceive. That, oh, you've finally come to X, Y, or Z point in your development, so you no longer need these particular things. The 10 of Cups is emotional satiety, and people around you are perceiving that about you at this time. Whether or not you are necessarily perceiving your own situation that way, and it's not necessarily a full and complete picture of what's really going on. So remember that also. But that around you, people perceive that you're doing very well emotionally. Here in the future, we have the Light card, and it's showing up in the reverse. So I read this one, I think yesterday, but it has escaped my memory. I regret. So in the upright, it's hidden truths. In the reverse, it's hidden lies. But now because it's in the future, it could be that hidden truths are being revealed in the future because these future situations are currently hidden, but they will be coming to light. So things will be revealed. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the Eye. And this card is all about being able to perceive and see all of the colors in the visible spectrum. So there are also aspects of this if any of you get into reading auras or Kirlian photography. I have a really great book I haven't read yet about Kirlian photography, where they electrify plates and use it to get the essence of things like leaves and coins. You could be hoping that you are having a complete picture at this time. Now, we know that you're not, because the future card coming out here shows us that things will be coming to light. Oh, that's okay, Kayla. I'm a little bit late today, too. I have to be honest, we're still on Aries. I started around 5:40 because I went to visit one of my friends today after work, which I think is a normal and healthy thing to do. So I didn't mind being late, and I hope you won't either. So this eye is in opposition to what you're seeing here with the ending of this friendship or relationship. Oh, thank you. Yes, I love my friend very much. And we had a couple of big life-changing things happening to us like around the same time, and so I haven't been able to see her for like a month. And especially at a time when both of us were going through these life-changing things. So I was glad to see her today. But it's very probable that in the current situation, Aries, you don't have a full and complete perspective on this situation, this friendship or relationship ending. Up here in the Imam Silai, oh yes, she's a triple Scorpio. I beg your pardon, this is the midheaven, so this is going to be the result of the Imam Silai. See, I told you I would not be keeping it normal today, so you have been forewarned. So because there's this thing that you've been using, not necessarily as a crutch, but something that you've been using to unlock doors, there's going to be an end to a competitive situation. All of this, like, kind of jockeying for position, rivalries, people trying to control things but not really having the power to do so. A lot of those situations are going to be falling away, but the potential is there that you'll level up and you'll find yourself in a new kind of group. So when I see this card in this position, in the reverse specifically, which is highly specific, right? But this is a general reading. I think a lot of you will be able to relate once I explain. That you might be in a field that's somewhat competitive, whether it's a creative field, maybe you're in finance. Finance has a lot of turnover. My ex-husband is in finance, and he's worked for a few different companies, and the lifespan of that career is usually very short. People usually get out of it before they reach like 40 or 50, and usually cash out, right? But what will happen is you'll be in one environment that's like this, and then this environment will implode inevitably. Inevitably, yes, especially Lehman Brothers, but even the larger firms like JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs, like even companies like that. And we've seen that, with a few different markets. That's not the point, though. The point is that when you leave that one volatile environment, if you're going to stay in this particular arena, you will find yourself in other situations like this, just by merit of that competitive field. Now, you might be finding that because, and this isn't going to be true for everybody, because again, this is a general reading. Some of you it's going to be one way, some of you it's going to be another. Some of you are going to find that because you have been robbing Peter to pay Paul, that both of them have run out. We can share what we've got of yours because we shared all of mine, right? And now it's all gone. And we're going to have to negotiate in a different way. And that's the key with this opposition that we're looking at with the Imam Seelai leading into this midheaven, is that there's a renegotiation occurring here. This could be your mental health. It could be your physical health, that are affected. Even the key, as you unlock the door over and over again, gets worn down over time. And people can always pick the lock. So a key is not a guarantee. It's just something that helps you, gives you an advantage. And perhaps in the long term, it's what puts you ahead of all of these other people and helps you evolve to the next level. The final outcome for you, Aries, is the Page of Cups in the reverse. So this card is kind of like warnings and advice and kind of ties up any loose ends nicely that we might still have hanging around. And it's in opposition to this Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is the end of a cycle of some kind. You're as happy as you're ever going to be from the outside looking in. And because of that, people are not necessarily going to be making you offers. So this Page of Cups in the reverse shows that potentially there are not going to be emotional offers coming into you at this time, even though you perceive yourself to be losing an emotional partnership of some kind. An emotional bond is leaving your life. But others don't perceive it that way. Now, remember that during this transition, give yourself lots of time. You might not want to rush into another emotional situation because you're kind of in flux. So whatever you're going to be going into isn't necessarily going to stick. And it's also time for you, Aries, to be making emotional offers to others. And the caveat with that being, making sure that you're bringing good boundaries to the situation. I just recently got out of one thing, so I'm not looking for anything serious. I do want to hang out and have a good time, but I am not ready for anything new. So it's not necessarily an emotional offer. And don't go looking for that, because I think that what is in store for you right now, I don't see a lot of solitary cards in your reading, Aries. But I do think that what is in store for you right now at this time is not as focused on a one-on-one situation. I think there's still not the healing process, but the relearning process. Relearning how to use this leg after the wound has healed, right? And it's not really fair to yourself or to somebody else to be expected to do that
and nurture and foster a new relationship.
So that is going to conclude the Aries reading for this week. And now I'm going to be moving on to the sign of Leo. And I tried not to tell too many details about my friend. I'm sure that if you know me personally, you could figure out who it is. But otherwise, I think it'll probably, not be like specific details.
So, Leo, if you would like, go ahead and set your intention for the reading. Allow any associated thoughts or ideas that you've been having around this intention to rise up to the forefront of your thoughts, and we will quickly address them.
How do I feel about connecting to readings from within the same elemental sign? That's a good question, Maria. So, you have all of the signs in your chart, first of all, and I invite you to look at your house placement in addition to where all your planets are. And then on top of that, I give the readings based on astrological energies, but different readings might resonate with you for different reasons. And if it resonates with you, then if you're getting value out of the advice that I give in a reading, if it's pertinent to your situation, then I do think that it's more than all right to listen to other sign readings. So I hope that answered your question, Maria, and thank you for asking.
So just allow those thoughts and ideas to rise up to the forefront of your thoughts. And if any of those things are causing you stress or strain, Leo, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy.
It's my pleasure, Maria, anytime.
As you inhale, draw in divine source energy and allow it to infiltrate every cell and every molecule of your body. And then as you exhale, just release back to source. Any of that discomfort, whether it's physical, emotional, anxiety, distraction, just release it back to source and it will be transmuted for you. All right. Oh, let me cut the deck actually. Here we go. All right. Wowza. All right. So let's see what we have here. Oh, let me write down the timestamp. Okay. So let's look here in the past, first of all. It's a little bit scary, huh? Boo. I'm just kidding. It is the Tower card. So, Leo, it looks like some things in the recent past might have been utterly ripped out from under you. You might have gone through some big life changes that were very destructive. Now, this card is upright and in the past, so you're still kind of going through this process. These things are still kind of unfolding for you at this time. Let's look here at the current situation. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, and it is crossed by the Three of Wands. Now, the Wheel of Fortune card is one of our fixed sign cards. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and we also have the World card. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiterian energy in the major arcana. So it is this idea that wealth and expansion and growth are perpetual things, and that there are sometimes collapses, like with the Tower card, but growth is perpetual. Even when we die and we are in the ground, there are things growing on our bodies, fungus, bacteria, decomposing agents. And those things also bring growth. They cause the grass to grow green. You get the picture. So the things that you put out there are now returning to you threefold. And that is causing the perpetuity of this growth. Furthermore, down here in this Imam Sili position, so this is something about the current situation that is building a foundation, providing an origin point for things that will be coming in the future. And we have there the Queen of Pentacles in the upright for you, Leo. Now, this is water of earth energy, so the two passive elements. And we're talking about the kind of proliferation of growth that is passive. There is a fertilizing agent from without that comes in and creates this abundance for you. It's very similar to the Empress card in the major arcana in that way. So here in your perspective of the current situation, we have the Page of Swords, and this card is in the reverse. And this relates also to the final outcome card. We'll get to that in a little while. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. The Page of Swords in the reverse, I call this the fake news card, right? Because you think that the information that you are getting from the outside world, or possibly from your intuition, is not good information. Not that it's not what you want to hear, but that it is not truthful. It is not a correct representation of what is actually going on. The Page of Swords in the reverse could also be about spying. So it's possible that you are stalking somebody's social media, or that somebody is doing this to you and you perceive that at this time. From an outside person's perspective, looking in on your situation, Leo, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So people perceive about you that you're very established in a certain type of work, a certain field, possibly in a few different things that you do. People perceive that you've been doing it long enough to be very established, very good, very skilled at what you're doing. Here in the future, we have the Nine of Swords. I'm sorry, I read that incorrectly. We have the King of Swords. This card is showing up in the reverse, the King of Swords. And this card is about discernment, and discernment in gray areas, Leo. And this card is showing up in the reverse. This is of air energy also, and sometimes I consider this to be an analog for the Justice card in the minor arcana. Can be a Libra person coming towards you as well. But because this card is in the reverse, and we also have this Page of Swords in the reverse, I feel like this is a situation that is currently hidden to you. So whether there is discernment that is required in a future situation that you are not currently able to suss out, or whether this is a King of Swords person coming towards you, that's a possibility as well. Or whether it is a situation in which you get what you are due. You get justice. You are justified in a certain situation. Because remember, the crossing energy here is the Three of Wands in the upright. And potentially you are justified in something having to do with this Tower moment. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Judgment card in the reverse. You are nervous that you're not going to pass the test and you're not going to get to move on to the 7th grade with all your friends who have been your friends since you were in kindergarten, and now they're all getting ready to graduate elementary school, and you're worried you're not going to pass that test. And you're worried you're not going to pass that test because you're worried you don't have the right answers. But it's possible that that is not an accurate reflection of what is going on right now. The Judgment is a big major arcana card, but the hopes and fears position is more about what's going on in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit and in your psyche. I do think that discernment will be there when you need it. Your midheaven for this reading, Leo, because of this strong financial foundation that you have here, you have the potential to be going into conflict. And this conflict, this Five of Swords, you could be the victor in a very contentious situation. This would be more than the Five of Wands, right? This would be more than the Three of Swords. This could be outright warfare of some kind. And it's potential that you will be the one who reaps the rewards of that. Now, obviously, I can see that you're not really geared up for that kind of conflict, but it's possible you don't need to be. And it's also possible that you're going to have a strong ally here in the future who ends up showing up for you in a way that you're not expecting. And the final outcome for you here, remember I was saying that the Page of Swords here, your perceptions of the information that you're getting being false. You cannot trust your intuition very much at this time. And there's a tendency, Leo, at this time to be overly emotional, especially in regards to one's work. Getting too wrapped up in your head about things that you already know very well how to do. that you could be very skilled in these areas, but you're not able to trust your intuition. And therefore, um, everything that you think you know, you doubt. And that is something that I see showing up a lot here in your reading at this time, Leo, is that you have a lot of doubts about what it is that you think you know for real. And I would invite you not to worry too much about whether the information you're getting is good information or not. Because at this point, it definitely looks like it's a done deal. Not that you couldn't do things to mess it up, but that the path has already been laid and you're going to be reaping the rewards of the work that you've put in. And you're probably not going to see it until later.
So that is going to conclude the Leo reading for this week. And I do want to mention at this time that when I have completed all of the fire sign readings, I will be going over to the members side of the channel to do some crystal scrying with this beautiful Merlinite. If that is something that appeals to you, you're cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes.
Excuse me. So now we're going to move on to the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, I invite you at this time to set your intention for the reading. Go ahead and allow any associated thoughts or ideas that go along with that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind, and just wait there patiently.
Oh, thank you for joining the channel, Virginia. It's good to see you.
I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in divine source energy and allow it to infiltrate every fiber of your being. And then exhale. And release that energy right back to source. And it will be transmuted. You write down your timestamp here. Okay. Now, we have some very intense energies in your reading, Sagittarius, and we have them on both sides of the spectrum. We've got the very good, and we've got the darker stuff as well. So let's get right into it. We have a couple of major arcana. A lot of higher number cards. So starting out here in the past for you, Sagittarius, we have the Nine of Wands, and this card is reversed. So at some point in the past, you managed to let your guard down about a lot of things. You might have been very guarded in the past, and at some point you were able to kind of start opening up, start letting go of some things that were preventing you from being open with other people or trusting or being able to connect. So, that being in the past and in the reverse, now you're growing, you're coming into a place in your life where you're opening up to people, you trust people. Maybe not every person necessarily, but you're able to open up more to people. And we do have two very strong Leo cards coming out. So,
Maria, it's very interesting that you did say that you connected a lot to the Leo readings. You should look and see which house is Leo in your chart, because these two cards are both Leo cards.
So we have the Sun card. So everything seems to be going very well at this time for you, Sagittarius, but it's also crossed by the Strength card, which indicates that there might have been a need for perseverance in certain situations, that there's persuasion going on, and perhaps that is contributing to your environment being very good overall. Because now, here in the Imam Seelai, we're starting to get into some of these tougher energies. And that's very interesting because this is the foundation for the midheaven, your goal or destiny. And what we have here is the Nine of Swords. So, anxiety, stress, that's very counterintuitive to the Sun card coming out in the place of the significator, because if everything's going so well, why would you be stressed out? Doesn't make any sense. But there are things that can be very stressful even when you're in a good situation. You've let down your guard about a lot of things. You've let a lot of those trust issues go from the past. But perhaps this has led to other things cropping up as stressors in your life. And we'll look at that a little bit more here when we look at your perceptions of the current situation. We have the Ten of Wands here, which is all about burdens. This is actually Saturn in Sagittarius energy. So it does have to do with your sign a bit. And it is a very burdened energy, a very oppressed energy. So even though things are going very well, there could be things that are burdensome to you. There could be things going on that might be too much for you to handle on your own. And that's where this strength is going to come in and be key, not in the sense that you're strong enough to bear all of this. But remember, I was talking about the powers of persuasion, that you can have those around you provide you support, and it's okay to do that. And it will alleviate a lot of that stress. So, here in the outside person's perspective on your situation, we have the Knight of Wands in the reverse. And this card is Fire of Fire energy. And one of the signs yesterday got this card. I think it was even Cancer. Got this card in the reverse in the same position. And it has to do with people around you perceiving that you're not taking action quickly enough in situations. And certainly if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling overwhelmed, which I do see that quite a bit here in your reading, that you might be paralyzed by those feelings. You might feel like there's too much to carry and you're not able to do it all at once. So there might be an aspect of this where you need to open up to people about their expectations and your
but one of your houses is going to be dominated by Leo, because your ascendant is your first house, and then it goes around the wheel So everybody has all of the signs in their chart, but some of them are empty houses. But that doesn't mean that you don't still have that energy of that house in your chart.
There might be ways that you need to open up to people. And that would allow sharing of these burdens. Because you were almost there in the past with those burdens. And now you're kind of feeling everything come to a culmination. Because we do have like 9 of swords, we have the 10 of wands here, so there is a culmination of some kind. There's not like a painful death like you see with the 10 of swords, but that 10 of wands is also a culmination of some kind, that you're about to hit the tip over point into a new cycle. Here in the future, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and this card is showing up in the reverse for you. You might have to quit a job, or there might be an evaluation process that you have not yet begun doing, a sorting process. So the 7 of Pentacles is not just about feeling dissatisfied with one's work. It's also about the evaluation of how much am I putting in and how much am I getting back out for that. And I think that you're going to be looking at that in more realistic terms. And that's going to help you to release some of these burdens, because it's possible that you've opened up too much to people, and you, not even that people are trying to take advantage, but that you might be over promising at this time because things are going so well for you. And especially if you're a small business owner, it can be really easy to overpromise to your customers and then get overwhelmed when you're not able to meet all those expectations. So you will need to then evaluate which of my clients are good return clients and how much is this person contributing, and like just setting good boundaries with people is going to be part of that also. Up here in the hopes and fears, you are afraid of disappointing people. You're afraid of arguments. We have the 3 of swords there. And that, of course, is counter to the 10 of wands. So because of all these burdens, or because of this fear of causing strife or argument or having people leave your life, you are taking a lot of burdens onto yourself at this time. And ironically enough, it's at a point in your life when things are going really well. And sometimes that's how it goes. People around you see that you're doing well, and they're like, oh, I'm not doing so great. I bet that Sagittarius, who's always been so lovely and kind to me, would be able to help me out in this particular situation. Now, we don't see a lot of money energy in the reading other than this 7 of Pentacles in the reverse in the future. So that tells me that this is not so much about the monetary reward. This might not even be a job situation, but it could be. But that you're not focused on the money aspect of this situation. But in the future, you will become much more focused on that aspect of it as a indicator to you of your worth in your interactions with certain people. And of course, money doesn't dictate your worth, but money equals time, money equals energy. And if people are not compensating you fairly for the work that you're doing, then you have to find the people who are going to. Here in the midheaven situation. So this is going to be a result of all of this stress that you're going through in the current situation. And up in the midheaven, we have the Seven of Swords in the upright. Now, it's very interesting that this would be a result of something else. And I would caution you against trying to finagle your way out of anything. Because this person here is very resourceful, but the way that they're choosing to use that resourcefulness is through underhanded dealings. They're choosing to take advantage in an unfair way. And there might be something about that that ends up happening in the long term. And a lot of times, when you have been taken advantage of, there is the possibility that you might, even unintentionally, turn around and take advantage of other people. This card showing up in the upright and in the midheaven, and as a result of this stress that you're going through in the current situation, that's one possibility. There's also the possibility that because you feel overburdened in some way, you end up beholden to somebody else because you've surrendered parts of your power. Because remember, the strength card is the crossing card here in the current situation. So you do have this strength available to you, this fellow fire sign Leo energy. This is a fixed sign energy too. And we'll get into another fixed sign card in a moment. We have a fair amount of fixed sign energy coming through in your reading this week, Sagittarius. The final card in your reading is the World card. And this card is showing up in the reverse. There's not a resolution just yet. There's not closure just yet. And this is counter to this Knight of Wands energy in the reverse. So you might be dragging your feet on something that could bring a finality to a situation. And that could be a very beneficial finality for you, Sagittarius. It might not be such a bad thing for you to have happen, but you might have a lot of fear surrounding this action. You might have a lot of preconceived notions that it's going to bring in more burdens or strife. But actually, what's going to end up happening is that it's going to bring you closure, which right now you do not have. So that is going to conclude the fire sign readings for this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to go now over to the members side of the channel and do the crystal scrying. If that's something that interests you, you're cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. So until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon.